Hello everyone, welcome back to the Knowledge Studio channel. I am come up with the second part of this chapter. First part has already been uploaded. Please watch it, and if you like the video, please subscribe the channel and share it with your friends. So in this video, we will cover up the remaining concepts for this chapter. That is to see the grouping of animals, how plants and animals found in one region area are different from those of another region. What are their body structures that make them so special? And at the last, we will learn what is meant by habitat and adaptation, and also when the biodiversity of a region is in danger. Let us remember what we have learned so far. We have seen in our surroundings there are various types of plants and animals that make the biodiversity. Based on their different features, we can categorize plants and animals. And in the last video, we have seen grouping of plants based on two features. First was based on their height and the nature of the stem, that classifies them to tree, shrub, and herbs. And second classification was based on their leaf venation as reticulate or parallel structure. Students, today we will cover two more criteria to classify plants. Third grouping is based on the structure of roots. जो उनकी रूट की स्ट्रक्चर है वो हमें कैसे दिखती है, इसके लिए हम एक एक्टिविटी परफॉर्म कर सकते हैं. तो इसके लिए वी गो टू अ गार्डन और नर्सरी. नर्सरी एक ऐसा प्लेस होता है जहाँ पे बहुत सारे छोटे छोटे पेड़ पौधे आपको मिल सकते हैं. वहाँ पे बहुत सारे हर्ब्स और ग्रासेस आपको मिल जाएंगी. You carefully dug out some small plants with khurpi, an instrument to remove the soil. Basically, you can plant these different herbs from one pot to different pot. During this, observe the structure of roots of different herbs. What will you see? We observe some plants whose root structures are similar to each other. However, there are some plants that have different root structure. What we can conclude from this experiment is that plants show variation in their root structure. तो जो रूट्स होती हैं प्लांट्स की वो मेनली टू टाइप्स की होती हैं. एज यू कैन सी इन दी दिस फिगर, one of them is called taproot. And what are these? Taproot has one main root which is strong, and some small roots which are weak, they are coming out of it. This root structure is called taproot, and you can easily see this kind of root structure in plants of mustard and hibiscus. On the other hand, there is another type of root structure that is called fibrous roots. How it is different from taproot? There is no main root, but a bunch of similar sized thin roots. They grow from the base of the stem. This seems like a fiber or threads coming in the soil. Hence, this is called fibrous roots. Such roots they are observed in the plants of grass, or you can see in rice plants. So this figure clearly shows the structure of these two type of roots. We can further classify the plants by looking the relation in their leaves and root structure at the same time. तो हम दो फीचर्स को एक क्राइटेरिया ग्रुप बेसिस मानेंगे ताकि हम डिफरेंट प्लांट्स को कैटेगराइज कर सकें. So, okay, let us perform an activity to understand what this means. For this, you can collect saplings of 5 different plants from nursery and note their roots and leaf structure together. What you will observe? You will observe a relation between leaf venations and type of root. So in this observation table, we can see that some plants like grass, wheat, rice, their leaves have parallel venation and their roots are only fibrous types. However, plants of marigold, chickpea, जो चना होता है, they have reticulate venation in their leaves with a taproot structure. So what we can conclude from this? Plants with parallel venation have fibrous roots, and those with reticulate venation show taproot structure. And in this slide, we can understand this better. On the left side, we are shown hibiscus and guava plant leaves and their corresponding root structure. Similarly, on the right side, we see the images of leaves of wheat and maize plant, and their root structure is of fibrous type. तो रेटिकुलेट में हम मिडल वेन देखते हैं और उसके आसपास एक नेटवर्क होता है। तो सिमिलरली उनका जो रूट स्ट्रक्चर में भी एक मेन रूट स्ट्रक्चर होती है और उसके आसपास छोटे छोटे रूट्स निकलते हैं। दिस कैन बी यूज्ड एज अ मेमोरिंग टिप फॉर learning this, that parallel venation leaves show fibrous roots while reticulate venation leaves they show taproot structure. There is another type of grouping of plants. If we use their seeds, if we see their seed structure, then we can again categorize the plants based on the number of cotyledons in the seed. So what is cotyledon in these seeds? जैसे चने होते हैं, it is a seed. You can see that it has two parts. या आप जब कभी भुट्टा या मक्के के दाने खाते हैं तो वो भी एक सीड होता है. It has only one part. So cotyledon basically it is a part of seeds that provides food to the seed, and it becomes the leaves when the seeds sprout. So seeds of a plant, they are split into one or two parts, and each part is called cotyledon. सो यही क्राइटेरिया है प्लांट्स को ग्रुपिंग करने का कि उनके सीड के स्ट्रक्चर को हम देखते हैं and we can see whether they have only one part or two parts. To understand this better, let us perform an activity. We soak some seeds like chickpea, chana, mung beans, and maize seeds in water. When they get bigger in size, we see their structure. Sometimes sprouts also coming out from it, and that is cotyledon part. We observe seeds with either one part or two parts in this activity. So from this activity, we can say that different plants show mainly two types of seed structure. One plants, they are called dicotyledons or dicots in short form. They are those plants that have seeds with two parts. और ये जनरली बीन्स, चिकपी या मटर के प्लांट्स होते हैं, इनकी जो सीड स्ट्रक्चर है उसमें दो पार्ट्स हमें दिखते हैं. मटर में तो आप खाते भी हैं उनको. सिमिलरली ऑन द अदर हैंड monocotyledons or called as monocots in short, they are those plants that have only one part in their seed structure, and it is generally seen in grass, maize, and rice plants. It is clear from these images below that chickpea के जो सीड है उसमें दो पार्ट्स हैं और जो मेज का जो सीड है it has only one part. Now we can classify plants with two or more features combined, and this classification is called broader classification because यहाँ पे जो हम plants के दो या तीन features को group basis की तरह use करते हैं. So what is found in our nature that dicot plants, meaning the seeds have two parts, those plants के जो leaves हैं वो reticulate होती हैं and they possess taproot only. On the other hand, जो monocots होते हैं, plants होते हैं, they show parallel venation in their leaves and they possess fibrous roots. This figure make it clear. Mango tree has leaves like reticulate venation and their roots, they are of taproot type. Seed is dicot. मैंगो के आपने देखा है गुठली होती है उसके दो पार्ट्स होते हैं. Similarly, rice plant they has leaf structure of different type like parallel venation with fibrous roots and single part of the seed is observed. So you see that our nature follows certain pattern and this is beautifully seen in different plants. This makes their grouping very efficient. So with this we end the discussion for grouping of plants based on different features, and now we will see how the grouping of different animals is done. So now when we group animals, we also see that different type of animals are found in nature. Animals are also significantly different from one another. What features we can use to group animals? As you can see in this table, that we can use number of factors that can be used to categorize different animals, like their place of living. Generally elephants हैं, लायन है, वो लैंड पे रहते हैं, लेकिन जो जितने भी बर्ड्स हैं वो जनरली ट्री पे रहते हैं. Similarly, we can also see their food habit, whether they eat only grasses or they eat other animals, or we can also observe their movements, like how they move from one place to another, like walking, jumping, swimming, flying, etc. To understand this better, let us perform an activity in which we use different type of movement as the group basis to categorize animals. So we can observe different type of animals in our surroundings and observe how these animals move from one place to another and which body part is used by these animals when they perform movement. So as you can see in this figure, when we go to any garden, we observe different type of animals like cows, butterflies, birds, rabbit, fishes in the pond, or sometimes maybe earthworm. So all of this, we can say that movements generally involve are flying, running, maybe crawling on the ground, walking, jumping. And the body parts used by animals, they are either wings, as we see in butterfly, legs, as we see in cows, fins in fishes, and maybe the whole body for the earthworm. With this activity, we can make an observation table as shown in this page, also given in your textbook, that we can write the animal name that you observe, the type of movement they do, and the body parts used by them. For example, ants, जो चींटियां होती हैं वो ऑब्जर्व हमें दिखती हैं, तो they generally walk and they use their legs. Similarly, pigeon या कोई एक हाउस फ्लाई होती हैं, they generally walk or fly and they use legs and wing. So this movement is another different way of grouping the different animals together. And from this activity, we can say that different animals have different type of movements. Besides that, animals they also differ in their shape, size, food habits, and living place. So we can categorize based on those features as well. Grouping of animals is very important because we can understand their diversity better. Now we will discuss like how different animals and plants they live in different type of surroundings. What are their structure that make them so special to live in those surroundings only? We observe different animals live in different surroundings. Why there is biodiversity in our nature? The body features of animal play an important role in living these surroundings. For example, if we take if we look observe fish and the goat body structure, then what we found that fishes who live in water, they have streamlined body and they have fins on their body for movement in water. But same type of structure is not present in goat, which generally live in grassy areas and move with the help of legs. So these two animals they are differ in their size and shapes as well. So we can see that these two animals they are very different and found in different surroundings. We can categorize various animals and plants in different surroundings. Generally, there are various landscapes found on our earth, whether it is desert, mountains, ocean, forest, grassland, or cold region. We find different type of animals and plants living there. So in this activity, we list the name of plants and animals that are found in different surroundings. And as you can see in the following table, which is given as an exercise in your textbook, we see that in desert we generally find camel and the cactus plants, which are not found in cold region where we find seal or penguins and some algae. So from this activity, we can understand that different type of plants and animals are found in different surroundings. And why it is so? Because they have their body features that make them easy to live in those places. So let us see another example of a cactus plant and Deodar tree, which are found in completely different surroundings. So plants and animals found in one kind of region, they are different from those found in another kind of region. For example, cactus plant, as you can see in the figure, they have thick and fleshy stems. They are found in hot region. So if we compare the climatic conditions of hot region, of course, there are very little water available, and the hot desert is very hot during the day and very cold at night. So it means that in hot desert, only those plants and animals they can survive who are who have this their body features susceptible for this hot and cold conditions at night. So the fleshy stems of cactus they can store water and help them tolerate the hot condition. So their body features they don't make them weak for lack of water. Instead, they have found their way to store the water in their stems, which can be used over the day. However, if you see the Deodar tree, which are generally found in colder regions like Himalaya, so they have very different shapes, like they have conical shapes, flexible and sloping branches. As you can see in the mountains, they are extremely cold region, experience frequent snowfall होता रहता है वहाँ पे, तो इसके लिए जो trees होती हैं, they should be have those structure जो उन snow को अपनी leaves से झाड़ सके. So for that, these leaves are have sloping branches like नीचे की तरफ झुकी होती हैं, and the whole tree is like conical shape that enable them to survive in those cold surrounding very easily. So we can say that biodiversity of different region varies because of distinct environmental conditions. Before beginning further, if you have liked and watching this video, please subscribe this channel and show your support to this channel. Next example we take from a camel that are found in hot desert as well as in cold desert. So same camel will have different body structure. For example, in hot desert like in Rajasthan, these camels they have long legs with wide hooves that make camel to walk on the sandy desert without sinking into sand. क्योंकि जो सैंड का स्ट्रक्चर होता है वो फिक्स नहीं होता है, सो दे हैव बिगर legs, bigger hooves, wide hooves that they can easily walk. Besides that, food is not available easy in hot desert, so camels store food in their humps, जो उनके पीठ के ऊपर एक उभरा हुआ पार्ट को हम hump बोलते हैं, and they have one hump that helps them to survive during the lack of food. Beside that, to minimize the water loss from their body, they excrete small amount of urine. और उनका जो डंग होता है, shit होता है, it is generally dry and they do not sweat. So these body features it helps animal to live in the hot desert of Rajasthan. If you compare the animal from the hot desert to that of animal which is shown in this figure that is found in cold desert, you see that their body features are different. First difference is that the camel found in cold desert like in Ladakh, the height and legs of animal they are comparatively shorter. It allows them to walk easily in mountainous region because mountain region they have very ups and down. Second thing is that in cold desert generally food is not found easily, so they have two humps, and these two humps they store their food which is used in winters. These humps they can shrink in size when food is not available, and they use the stored food in their homes. Besides that, they have long and thick hair all over the body that make them survive the cold winters because the temperature is low. So this fur on their body make them warmer. So these from this example we can see that the animal that is found in hot desert is very different from found in cold desert. Plants such as rhododendrons, they exhibit different features in different regions to survive the conditions of those regions. So if we compare the rhododendrons that are found in forest and compare with those found in mountains, they show different structure. So rhododendrons in the forests of Nilgiris, Western Ghats, they are generally shorter height and have smaller leaves to survive through the heavy winds on mountain tops. तो जनरली इन माउंटेन्स पे बहुत तेज हवा चलती है, तो अगर लीव्स का साइज छोटा होगा तो प्लांट के लिए बहुत इजी होगा कि वो एक उस तेज विंड्स को सर्वाइव कर सके. However, rhododendron that are found in mountains, they have generally they grow taller with bigger leaves, as you can see in the figure, and compare with the last page video photo. Then, so they grow taller because now they can survive in that mountain region, and their leaves are bigger because generally in mountain region there is a humidity, and by increasing the surface area of leaves, which is happening for bigger leaves, they release the humidity very easily. So same plant found in different region have completely different features that make them survive in those harsh conditions. Now we will see the important concept of adaptation. As we have seen that different animals and plants found in different regions, they show variation in their body structures and other properties. So, why it is so? The special features that enable plants and animals to survive in a particular region, they are called as adaptation. So it means that जो plants or animals होते हैं, they adapt to their environment, and that's why their body features they are different from one another because these body features they help them to survive in that kind of environment. For example, if we see the shape of a devta tree, it is suitable for devta tree in mountain regions. And if we see the height of rhododendron in mountains, it is helpful for it to survive in the mountains. Similarly, streamlined body of the fish helps them to swim in water easily. So these all are adaptations of different animals or plants in response to their environments where they are found. As we have seen that animals and plants live in a particular region, the place where plants and animals live is called their habitat. Habitat of sea turtle is sea and ocean. Habitat of a camel is hot or cold desert. Habitat of a rhododendron is either mountain or forest. So we can see various type of habitat on this earth, whether it is ocean, desert, cold mountains, or forest area. What is the importance of habitat? Habitat of plants and animals provide food, water, air, shelter, and other useful resources for their survival. Many type of plants and animals they may share the same habitat. For example, in grasslands we see lions, elephants, as well as trees together. Habitat plays an important role in shaping the biodiversity of a region because different plants and animals they can live together with different properties, different body structure. With different type of habitat comes different way of grouping plants and animals. It means that one grouping can be done by selecting those live in land and those animals or plants living in water. One type of habitat is terrestrial habits, which means that plants and animals that live on land, they are said to live in terrestrial habits. An example of such habitats are forest, desert, mountain, grass, land, because uh, all as land. The animals and plants living on terrestrial habitats are called as terrestrial organisms because their body features are made in such a way that they can survive in this kind of habitats. For example, deer, lion, mango tree, elephant, they all live on land and they cannot survive in other type of region like water or air. There is another habitat which is called aquatic habitats. The plants and animals that live inside water, they are said to live in aquatic habitats. Examples of such habitats include pond, lake, river, and ocean. The plants and animals living in aquatic habitats are called as aquatic organisms like octopus, fish, whale, seaweed. There is third category of plants and animals that can live in water as well as on land, and those are called amphibians. जैसे आपने कभी फ्रॉग को देखा है तो फ्रॉग पानी के अंदर भी रहता है और थोड़े टाइम बाहर भी आ जाता है. Similarly, turtle है, it can also swim inside water as well as it can live outside water. So these are the different body features shown by these animals that make them live at on the land as well as water. So we have seen that depending on habitat, we can classify the different plants and organism as terrestrial organism, aquatic organism, and amphibians. Now we will see the reasons for loss of biodiversity. As we know, biodiversity means that we have different plants and animals found in a region. And if there is some damage to this diversity of plants and animals because of loss of their homes, food, and other resources, it can vanish the biodiversity. Such beautiful, amazing variety of plants and animals. Examples like goats cannot survive if there is no grass to eat. Fish cannot survive if there is no fresh water. So we must protect biodiversity to ensure that our planet is full of life because different animals and plants they live together and they are important for each other life activities. Imagine if you cut a forest in a like your surroundings, then different animals and plants they will be affected by it and they have to move from different areas to get their food and home and shelters. What we can do to conserve our biodiversity, and there have been various projects and movements done by communities all over the world. First example is Save Silent Valley movement, which is about preserving beauty of a evergreen forest in the Palakkad district of Kerala. It was saved by a remarkable movement done by common people who were not living in that area. And it took around 10 years to completely stop the construction of a dam. People used various resources and spread the awareness among different peoples, and finally, they were successful in saving the Silent Valley. Besides that, there are other initiatives taken by government to conserve tiger, cheetah, and Indian bustard, which is a bird. There is a project Tiger initiated in 1973 and another project named as Cheetah Reintroduction Project in 2022 and habitats of Great Indian bustards they have been declared as protected areas so people cannot hunt for these animals. So these are another ways to protect these animals. Besides that, there are sacred groves, which are undisturbed patches of forest, and these are the part where hunting of animals is completely prohibited. You cannot search for any plant or animal, or you cannot even use it. This is generally protected by local community, and they are a protective measure taken by local community to conserve biodiversities. There are some scientists who also contributed to these movements and protecting the biodiversity in India. One is John Camel. She played a very important part in Safe Silent Valley program. Another person is Salim Ali, who is also known as Birdman of India. So with this chapter is end, and I hope you liked and subscribe this channel.